Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. So we're at part 3 of the making the lovely little tag book or ephemera book or what have you. I'll do a walkthrough right at the end, but we've made it. We've now decorated all of the pages inside, and we've finished our notches so that they look lovely and neat. And now we're going to do the tags inside. So there's 7 tags to do. I've done a little bit of preparation work to start off with. So what I've done to start off with is on the back of each one, I've put, excuse me, I've put to and from, because obviously it's going to be a tag. And I've done some little sentiments, and I've just done a variety, and I've inked them in a slightly darker ink and used the same little scraps that I had left over, so the colour of the ink and everything is all going to be the same. So it's got that sort of vintage feel to it, which I think is rather nice. So if we take the first one, I have sponged round the edges of them. These will measure, so the actual book page size is 3 by 3. So this one was 2 3/4 for the page. This is 2 1/2, and the little piece inside is 2 1/4. Now I did have some odd bits at the end, so some of them are a little bit smaller this way than that way, but you know, do it 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 and you'll be fine. So this is 2 1/2 and this is 2 1/4, so 1/4 of an inch down each time, so you know that it'll fit nicely inside the pocket. So I have also, as we did before, I have used this indigo blue background stamp and just stamped a little bit of text on there for a bit of texture. So we are going to start the first one with one of my favourite stamp sets of all time, particularly at Christmas time, is Nature's Beauty. Old retired one of Stampin' Up, but I really love the deer, the rabbit and the fox, and I thought that that would work quite nicely with the Christmas look as well. So I need to I'm going to do the deer, but I think that the deer is going to come out, so I'm just putting it on here. I don't know whether I cleaned this stamp after I used it before. Looking a bit grubby looking, but it's going to go in like that, so we're not going to have the whole of it. I am going to just make sure that it is not it's not got ink and everything on it, and it was just I didn't oh, what am I trying to say, I didn't clean it afterwards. Now I've got a bit of scrap on here that I was using for bits, so let's have a look and see. No, I didn't, that's fine. Okay, so I'm using a slightly darker brown this time to just go in on here, and I'm just going to ink it up, and then it's going to come in just in on the center there. I think that looks, oh, that looks beautiful, doesn't it? Just such a lovely stamp. So I've got 7, haven't I? So do I do 2? And yes, I think I will, although I did like this one with this deer on it, but I don't think all of that's going to go in, so I'm going to have some of the antlers hanging off. I quite like this because it is very it's just got that lovely feel. So I'm going to put that in on there, and I think I'm going to do 2 of each of them, and then maybe do a third in like that. So that's 2. Do I do 3? No, I'm going to do 2. I do need to clean this one up now. So let's just give this a clean up. I could do it at the end, but you know me, I've looked at this stamp and I've gone like, I don't like the look of this. It looks very grubby. So let's get a bit of a spray on there and give it a good old clean up. See if it'll come up cleaner. I think I probably use Stays On or something on this because it's just very grubby looking, isn't it? So I probably need to use some Stays On cleaner or something, because I don't like my stamps looking grotty. But that's the let's move this out on here. That's the deer. So I've done a couple of deer. I want to do a couple of the fox, and I want to do a couple of the little bunny. So I think I can put it on here, can't I? Put it in on the center. Okay, so let's take this one. I'm doing it this one because some of my paper is not exactly the same size, so I just want to make sure that I've got it running in the size that I want. So let's do it in this dark one. It just gives a lovely sort of sepia look to it. Beautiful. I love that little fox. He's cute. And we'll have this one. So again, I know a lot of you bought these ones, so if you want to use these ones, then that's fine, and just find a very sort of neutral looking cardstock or sorry, pattern paper to work on it. So I'm just going to clean this one up again to just give that, to say, I think I need to give these all a little bit of an extra clean. And that's the little bunny. I love this little bunny. Let's pop him in on there, and then we've got two of the little bunny. Him in on the center. Just works so well because it gives that sort of really just pretty look to it. And I've got one over, so do I do a deer or do I do another bunny? I'm going to do another bunny, I think, because I've got it out rather than doing it in another one. So let's just put that in like that, and then that can go on there. Right, so that's all of those. I can now glue those on. I wasn't going to glue them beforehand because if you make a mistake, so if you stamp something and it goes wrong, if you glued it all together, you're wasting that as well. Whereas if you just do it first and you make a mistake, you can always cut another piece out. So that's on there. The only thing I have to double check is that I've got my to and from the right way. So I always double check, yes I have. Then I can glue this on here. And that gives them like that. Then we can have this one. Now I could have done all deer again inside. I just thought I really like this one, and I'd trying to get and use ones that are favourites and things, and this definitely was a favourite. So I thought, oh, you know what, this will make a lovely one. And it's probably, I will probably end up keeping these ones myself and then giving them to people in their presents for Christmas time. So because I really like this. But in the same respect, they don't have to be, if you put a different sentiment on them, they don't have to be for Christmas. You know, doing it in this sort of colour, it's not traditional Christmas colours. So it does mean that you could just turn round and go, actually, I'm just going to have it as a birthday or an anniversary or a just a tag. You don't have to put a sentiment on it at all. I'm going to, because I am going to use these for Christmas. So those are those all done. So the next bit is I need to put the words, and I've literally just cut out a pile and then used a punch to just punch them. So let's have a Merry Christmas on here. And again, I'm not putting them up with foam pads or anything. I am literally just putting them down like this because I don't want to have anything that is going to stick out too much. Okay, so that's that one. What have we got on here? Have we got a little something? That's quite a nice one, a little Merry Christmas. So that can go in on here. Okay. Oy, my fingers have got glue on them, so it's pulling up. And this one, I've got two of these ones. So do I have, oh, I did quite a few Merry Christmases like that, didn't I? Let's have another big Merry Christmas on this one then. Glue this one on. Go. I like having it down at the bottom. I could have it right the way across, but I don't want to distract from the picture too much. That's a little one, isn't it? Enjoy this season. That's a nice one. Oops, golly, I've got glue on my fingers. The only trouble with wet glue is that you tend to get sticky fingers. But it is, Tombow is my absolute favourite, so that can go down at the bottom. It's quite nice that the colours all sort of tone in together. Now I could have sponged round them in retrospect. It probably would have been a good idea to have sponged round the edge of these, the words, which I haven't done, but I don't think it looks too odd. I can put that down there. And we've got these two. And then that's our sentiments in. So this is another way of showing you how you can do batch making as well. You know, just get all your sentiments out together, then get all your card blanks together and do it sort of one at a time. The Stamparatus is quite good if you're doing exactly the same, but I tend to not do things that are exactly the same. Okay, so that comes at the bottom. So you can see some of them, the words are match better than the others, but I don't think it matters that much. So we've got 3 bunnies, we've got 2 foxes, and we've got 2, which I think, as I say, they're quite nice and vintage looking. So we now need to turn them into tags. So I need my crocodile, and I want to get the bigger of the holes, I want to just put a hole in the top of each one. So put it in roughly in the middle. I always do this because it's got quite a few layers to go into, so it's going to come over his ear, but never mind. Could have had it in the corner, but I'm not going to. and then you can put ribbon or you can put twine. I'm very much a twine person. I find that if you put ribbon, it makes it a bit bulky, but if you've got fine ribbon, I suppose it would work. In fact, thinking about it, I've just thought, I think I've got some quite fine ribbon. I might use some of that. Now I could use Hessian or something with this, because that would work quite well, but I don't know whether I am. So they've got the holes in. Now I've got this, which is called sort of crinkly ribbon, and I've got quite a lot of that. That I think will work quite nicely, because that will go through quite well. So you need about, just to do your tag, let's have a look. That is 16 centimetres. Don't know what that is in inches. Probably about 6 inches. My span is 7 inches, so I always, if I ever get stuck and I can't remember and I haven't got a tape measure with me, I know that my span is 7 inches, so I can then roughly work out the size of things. It's only a rough, but if you need to do a rough guesstimation, then that's what you can do. So you can put it through the front or the back, but just pop it through and then open it up and put both ends through, and that gives you your little tag like that. So let's get them, what did we say, about 16 inches. So let's just cut those. So that's 1, 2, 16 inches, 16 centimetres. It's funny, isn't it? New craft products and things are all in centimetres. So 1, 2, 3. So I have to start using centimetres, although I'm not a centimetre type person. I'm very much imperial, but and I know my friends in America, and don't know whether it's Australia. You'll have to let me know for Australia whether you use centimetres or inches. But I know America, they use inches. So it's one of those that you just need to be a bit try and do both, I think. But I do struggle with both. I'm very much I do one, which is inches, feet and inches. You know, if somebody says something is, I don't know, 2.5 meters or something, I do struggle on that. Particularly, like, you know, like carpets and rugs and things. I'm very much, if it's, you know, 12 by 6 or something, or 12 by 12, I can visualize that. I can see it in my head. Whereas if it's 2 point or 3 meters or 2 point something or other meters, I can't visualize that in my head. But then if you're somebody like my son is so good. He can actually flip from one to the other, as in he converts it for me. So I turn around and say, what's that in real money? And he turns around and says, oh, it's da da da. So so he's very, very useful, because he does everything in you know, centimeters and millimeters, and whereas say I can't do that. So I'm just I don't tend to do that way. So we're just tying these little tags and things on. That's a bit lopsided, but I can sort that out afterwards. But as I say, I always do it from the center, pop it in. That's actually quite a nice nice little tag for this. And you can, with quite a few ribbons, you can actually sponge them and get them different colors if you want to, but I think that this is going to be just perfect. So I think I've got to cut a couple more, or maybe just one more, because I don't want to waste my ribbon. But again, you know, use what you've got. I was going to use twine because twine works quite well. Thick ribbon won't work you know, it's going to be far too thick, whereas this I think just works quite fine because it's quite a fine little ribbon. So we're nearly there, and we can then do a flip through. And as I say, I know if you're not somebody who sits and enjoys my rabbiting on and my talking about all sorts of bits and pieces and stuff, then you know you can fast forward it, and that's fine. If you've got time and you're sitting down with a nice cup of coffee or a drink of tea or a fruit tea or something, then you know you can you've got time to sit and listen to my rabbitings as well, which you know I know that quite a few of you do, or you know you actually sit and craft with me. So you know, the fact that you're doing it with me, it's something that you need the time to be able to do it, otherwise you're forever stopping the video, which I know can be frustrating, having spoken to a few of you. So I've always done mine real time, so that it allows you to see how long it's going to roughly take for each part. Okay, so now we've got them, we can now put them into our little slots. So this is the top one. Now what I tend to do is you can put your finger in, and you can see you can put quite a bit in there. So you could have quite a reasonable size ephemera in there. So let's do, we've got a rabbit, need to do them alternating them, don't I? So we'll have a rabbit, we'll have a fox. So again, just pop my finger in so I can open it up, put my fox in, but you can see it fits beautifully in there because we've cut it small enough to be able to go in. So we'll now have our deer. I must admit the deer is my favourite. I think the deer is absolutely lovely. And we'll have, what we're going to do, bunny, because I've got more bunnies, so that it means that I can, if I do my bunny first, then it's going to be better. Whoops, do it that way so the ribbon's sticking out, because it looks quite pretty with the ribbon sticking out. Now sometimes if you find you've got a little bit too much glue, you can just sort of push it down a little bit and it will work okay. So let's open this one. But as I say, you can fit quite a lot in there if you didn't want to, fox, if you didn't want to do tags. But I think, you know, as a little tag book, it actually looks nice with a little bit sticking out. So this is going to be my, oops, get my fingers in there. And that one goes that way. Just get that down. And then this is the last one. So you have 7 little tags. You've got a nice little book. So once you've given somebody the tags, you can continue to fill it up, or you can give it to the recipient as the tag book, and then they can put little bits of ephemera and things like that in it as well. So that's how that goes. You can then fold it up and you can see it still goes. So you can have these bits at the top, or what I tend to do is just fold them inside. So I will just fold it in just a little bit, fold it in, and then turn it, fold it in, which again, if you're using thick ribbon, makes it very bulky. If you're using something like this, doesn't make it too bulky. So then pop that one in, put that one across there, that one across there, and then you've got the little bit showing. Oops, that's fallen out of the bottom. Little bit showing, but you haven't got too much, and it then keeps it sort of neat and tidy. Or you can have them hanging out. It depends how you like it to look. I quite like it to be just in like that. Now you could put another Happy Christmas or something on there. I don't think I'm going to. And then I tend to take exactly the same ribbon, and this time you're going to take, oh, I don't know, enough to go around a few times. So you can take it round once and up, or you can take it round twice. I think once is probably enough, but you want to have a nice sort of bow in there, and I like quite a big sort of shaggy bow, only because I'm not a great bow maker. So I find that if you're using something like this, which is quite a soft, almost like a raggy bow, it means that when you're like me, that it takes a couple of goes to do it, because my hands don't work very well for tying bows. That's my excuse anyway. I'm just not a great bow maker. It means that you can just sort of pull it up a bit, and you're not going to make too much of a mess of it. Okay, so I think that's fine. Just take that piece off like that, and there we are. We have our lovely little tag book, which, as I say, is very neat, very pretty. And as I say, you know, you've got, if you, let's go through it. So we'll have the last bit. So you unwrap your little bit of ribbon, and you've got your front cover, and then we've got our lovely deer running through, and then you've got your tag which comes out of the top of here, so you can pull your little tag out, and we've got our bunny in on here, and then we've got our lovely deer again on there, and you've got your tag at the side, tag at the top, tag at the side, tag at the top, tag at the side, tag at the top. And as I say, you could put little tuck spots in there and you know, add to it. You can build it up as much as you like, as long as you don't make it too fat. So if you're doing little tuck spots in there, just make sure it's something small, because you will see, you know, it does need the ribbon to close it. But once you've done that, it's just a lovely little thing to give. And I'm quite pleased with this one. I love the colours of it, and it's something that I will probably gift, because I tend to gift most of my things, but I think it is something that, as I say, I can make more of fairly easily. I suppose from start to finish it's going to take you a couple of hours, you know, to do it properly, and to do all your tags and everything. So I've done, what, 3 videos of about half an hour each one, or just under. So yeah, so that's about the right size. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.